look like hell? I look like the cat just dragged me through hell. Look how I sound, and I can't find my glasses. Oh, they're upstairs. Okay. I'm gonna go get my glasses. Okay. Okay. Good morning. All right. Let's see. I can't share the link to Discord. So, because it needs 2-factor authorization, and y'all are on my phone. So I can't get the authorization. So if someone else could share the link, that would be amazing, please, and thank you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I sound like hell, but I didn't want to cancel the live. So, we're just going to see how long I can last. I hate allergies. Hello, welcome back. You had a foot of snow yesterday? Wow, it's just really cold here. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you so much. I hope your day is amazing. Did you know that if your dogs bark when the TV is on, Alexa will turn on relaxing music for your dogs? I did not know that. My Alexa never did that for Cadence. You're getting snow there tomorrow. I don't think we're supposed to get snow for at least the next 10 days. I don't know about after that. Just like I was checking the forecast. It's just supposed to be cold here. Oh, good. Okay, they shared it. Thank you for sharing the link. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, Kimmy. It's annoying when you're watching something. Well, yeah, that's probably true too. But you can't tag everyone. Thank you, Jessica. I saw you share it. It's fine. It's fine. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting them know. It's because, so, good morning, Topaz. Actually, I should probably just call you Zara, but I'm an idiot today. Anyway, so for the past couple of weeks, I've noticed something, and I thought it was just a fluke, but like I would be working on a client site, for example. I have a client, and we have an entire funnel built up through this software called ClickFunnels, right? It's like a landing page funnel builder. It's pretty easy. Anyway, what I noticed was every time I logged in, it opened up in 2 windows, like 2 tabs. And I was like, that's really weird. Whatever. But when I would go look at the other tab, it would be on the home page, not on the page that I logged into. So I was just like, that's really weird. And then I noticed it was starting like on Instacart. Sometimes it would be on like ActiveCampaign, because the same client, their email newsletters through ActiveCampaign. So I would go to log into ActiveCampaign and another tab would open up. DoorDash was another one that like I would log into DoorDash on my computer and another tab would open up. And it wasn't even just like another tab would open up. So I would just go and I would close it. But it was like sometimes like if I had ClickFunnels open and it was like 4 tabs, because y'all know I have like a bajillion tabs open, right? So if I'd be like 4 tabs in from the left and I just refreshed and logged in, another tab would open up at the end. And so I started thinking that's just really weird. But I didn't have time to look into it. So then last night, because I was at urgent care, I was like, you know what? On my phone, I'm just going to look into this real quick. So since we were waiting forever, so I started looking into it, and I started seeing all these stories about browser redirect malware files, like viruses on the browsers. And I thought, I bet you that's what it is. It's like, in my case, every time I saw the other one open up, I would think that was weird and I would close it. But it's like a phishing malware where if you didn't notice it, you might think that that was the one that you opened up. And so as you're putting in your information into that window, other people are getting your information. So I had to like completely reset my browser and like do a whole thing to get rid of the malware, right? Which seems to have worked, but it also signed me out of everything. And now nothing recognizes me because it's all like, you've never signed in from this computer before. So hence why Discord is like, you have to authorize everything. Topaz is your middle name. Oh, okay, cool. That's a really pretty name. I like that. What are my plans today? Well, the kids have Valentine's Day parties happening at their school. So my plan today is to put on makeup so that I look better than I sound. And then I volunteered at both classes, so I'm going to bounce between both of their classes. I already brought their Valentines in. I already donated a bunch of Valentines. I got like, I don't know, 6 or 7 boxes of Valentines from Amazon that I brought down and donated for any kids who didn't have any to bring. And I'm going to be there. I have a couple of meetings. I was going to see if we could do the office hours today for the Word members, but I'm not feeling good. So I might just do that tomorrow. Your bank account was hacked last week? Ew. I'm sorry. Hope everything went okay at urgent care. Yeah, it's... So I think we're all just getting hit with allergies of some sort. I don't know. I've got the like runny nose that is leading into a sore throat allergies. But Piper was covered in hives last night, and she was miserable. Like, she was just so miserable. And it was so irritated. And I was just like, you know what? I've never seen them this bad. But I can't figure out where they're coming from. The doctor said it was just stress hives. Which I get. I mean, I know that that's a thing because I get those, but these were like everywhere. Like, she was covered, just all on her neck, all over her torso, her legs, her thighs. And the doctor said stress hives. And I thought, well, okay. And she definitely got stressed with them because they were hurting. But we ended up with a prescription for a lotion that is on her and Zyrtec. And then a referral for an allergist, just in case. But all I knew is I saw the hives, and then she said she was having trouble breathing. So I thought it was contact hives at first. Like, I thought she got into something. But no. And I'm so mad. I'm so angry at the timing of it all. Not at my girl, because, I mean, she can't help it, right? She's 9. She doesn't understand timing things. And I wouldn't want her to not tell me just because she thinks it's a bad time. But her father and this whole insurance fiasco that he started, I had to put the urgent care on a credit card. And it's going to take me forever to fully pay that off because it ended up being like we don't have insurance right now because of her father. So, uninsured trip to urgent care, fun. Uninsured prescriptions, also fun. I'm so mad because the timing is so, like, stupidly bad. And he did find another job. Yay. Awesome. But that insurance doesn't kick in until April 1st. I'm like, are you kidding me? So then I asked him again. I said, well, you're going to get the COBRA, right? You're going to, like, what happened with filling out the COBRA so that there's some insurance during the time in between, during the gap? And he goes, well, that's going to take weeks to do. And I said, but they'll backdate it to the day that you lost your job. So, like, even if I end up having to pay this stuff out of pocket, they'll backdate it and then they'll reimburse us. So he's like, then he tells me last night he threw the paperwork away. Why would you do that? But he threw the paperwork away because he got this job. And so he figured he didn't need it. And I'm like, and then he goes, well, why can't you just file for state aid? Excuse me. Hadi, hello. Did you see my question I texted to you? I kept getting allergy attacks, but now I have a referral for an allergist and rheumatologist to check for autoimmune thing. Ah. Hi, Naomi. Hope you're well. Thank you. Allergies. I have a question. I didn't see Seisha, but I haven't checked my messages yet. For editing, is the editor just revising grammar, syntax, etc., or does it include rewriting a piece of work? So that depends on the editor. Make sure that you check with your editor. Make sure before you sign any contract with your editor, make sure you understand what services they provide. Some editors, like developmental editors, depending on how much of the structure needs to be reworked. If it's like a couple of scenes, they might just go ahead and rework the scene. Like they'll go in and it's all going to be track changes. So you'll be able to like accept or reject it or whatever. But if they see a scene and they want to restructure that scene for a particular reason, maybe to make it more compelling or maybe to help flesh something out a little bit more or make it easier to track or something, they might just rewrite it, that chunk. Other editors, again, depending, will highlight that scene and just say, hey, rework this because this doesn't work. And they'll tell you why it doesn't work and what it should be instead. They'll be very specific about what it should be instead. Most of the time, developmental editors are, if they're going to rewrite something, it's only going to be in small chunks because you're not paying them to ghostwrite. And anything more than, say, a medium-sized chunk, you're falling into ghostwriting territory. So most of the time, they'll rewrite small, very small sections, but they're not going to go beyond that. And or they might rewrite one section and then go back to whatever impact that had and leave a note and say, hey, make sure you rework this to make that make sense or something along those lines. But for them to rewrite large chunks, you're getting into ghostwriting at that point, and that costs a lot more. But double check with your developmental editor when you sit down. Make sure that you check with them and see what they're actually doing for services. Now, for line editing, they'll rephrase certain things for tone and whatnot. But again, if there's like a whole scene is the wrong tone, then they'll leave a note and they'll say something like, you're going for like a scare here, but it's coming off too funny. Or they'll say something like, is this supposed to be a sexy scene? Because it's just not. Or something. And they'll tell you, like, you need to add this in or you need to do this in order to fix that tone. Grammar, syntax, etc., that's mostly proofreading, not really editing. Although the copy editor can get in there as far as the syntax goes. The copy editor is like choosing the best word to say that sentence and give that meaning in that tone. So that's going to be like your third copy edit. If that's what you're hiring for, the copy edit, yes, they will make changes to that. But not always. I opened up my laptop yesterday to write, but got totally distracted with trying to clear up my storage. Oh no! I relate to you so much. Dealing with insurances and healthcare issues can be such a pain. Sometimes it makes me sad to see that we live in a world which capitalizes on someone's ill health. Right? Like, you shouldn't be able to profit because someone is sick. I'm so mad at this whole thing. I know that editing involves rewriting certain sentences for clarity or to include certain details, but can someone tell an editor to rewrite a paragraph for them? Just covered that. Are you sure he wants to be a dad anymore? No. That's why he left. So I don't know how much of this story I've actually told y'all, but when he told me he wanted to leave, that was why he wanted to leave. That was exactly why. He was tired of coming home and having to clean up after the kids. And he loves the kids, but he was basically just tired of constantly having to be for the kids. He was tired. He didn't have the life that he had before we had kids. Like, he couldn't go out anymore and stuff like that. He didn't like it that he would come home from work and I would be like, good, here, take your kids for a minute. He didn't like that I would get angry that he would never take both kids with him at the same time. Never. Not once. Ever. Before he left, he would be like, I'm going to go to the store. And Piper and Christopher both would start, I want to go, whatever, store, go get a haircut, whatever it was that he was doing. They would both start waving their hands and jumping up and down and getting ready to go because they wanted to go for a ride. That's fine. They're extroverted. They get cabin fever. I don't get cabin fever, but they do. So it's fine. So then he would pick one, and then the other one would stay home crying every single time. So then I'd be like, why can't you bring both? And he'd be like, because I can't control them when we're out. They just get into too much stuff, and I can't control them. He would constantly. That's why he left, because he was tired of being a dad. And so now, every time I turn around, he's not a dad. But he gets mad at me when, like, he's blaming me right now. Oh. So my daughter is smart as hell. Like, she's 9 years old, and she's been picking up everything. And I do not talk like this in front of my kids at all. I'm doing it now because they're at school. But I go out of my way to help make sure that he's in their life. Like, I'll text him and be like, hey, you need to call Piper and let her know that it's her, happy birthday or something like that, right? Constantly. I'm constantly doing that. So past few weekends, she hasn't wanted to go. She doesn't like his girlfriend, and she hasn't been wanting to go there. So when he came to pick her up a couple weeks ago, she said she didn't want to go. She wanted to stay home. And he said, why? And she said, well, I just want to spend the time with mom. Now, my rule has always been, if you want to stay home, but you have to be the one to tell your dad. Like, that's not, I don't want to be the one in between that conversation. You have to be the one to tell your dad. So she told him she wanted to spend time with me. So then he's been yelling at me for the past week, saying it's because I work too much, and that if I didn't have to take on all these extra clients and work so many hours, that she would have the time spent with me so that she could go and spend time with him, because she wouldn't feel like she needed to stay home on his weekends to get time with me. Anyway. Gotta sleep. All right, have a great night. Sorry you're dealing with allergies. They're very annoying. They are. Your daughter is brilliant. I hope to meet her someday. She is. Thanks for offering clarity. I was trying to make sure I understand because I recently applied to be a volunteer editor, and the owner sent my first project. It's about 2 paragraphs. But the person said, feel free to edit, make us look big on paper, and reasons someone would want to highlight our efforts. Okay, cool. Yeah. That is tragically sad, having to deal with that as a child. Seriously not okay, but kudos to you, Naomi. Keeping certain things private, establishing boundaries. Thank you. Yeah, I've always been very much, I'm not going to interfere in a negative way in their relationship. I've always kind of believed that. Their relationship, she's going to figure it out, and she is figuring it out. You girl, go girl slay. Good morning. Thank you. You hear the birds outside? They think it's spring. There's a bird nest right outside the window. I don't know if you can hear them or not. But the cats are both like, ooh. Good morning, Callie. Good morning, Crystal Princess. Does make us look big on paper imply that you're doing more than just editing? I honestly don't know because I've never just seen that phrase before. I don't know what they're actually looking for, to tell you the truth. It makes sure, like, as you go through, you want to make sure that you have, yes, you want to check for grammar and you want to check for syntax and all of that. You also want to check maybe a little bit of the formatting. Like if there's dialogue, for example, make sure that when a new person speaks, a new paragraph is started so that the person speaking should not be happening at the same time that someone else is taking an action. You know what I mean? Or you don't have 2 people speaking within the same paragraph because that makes things very hard to follow. So it might mean that you got to fix some of the structure, which maybe then it'll look bigger, like because there's more lines. Or maybe they want you to like fill it out a little bit more, like add in some more details to help flesh certain things out, which an editor might do. Yeah, but other than that, I'm not sure what that phrase means. I don't know. Your hair's so cool. Thank you. So glad she recognizes her value and prioritizing the people that prioritize her. I am so proud of her. Yes, definitely. I'm new here. What kind of things you like and do? We talk about writing and publishing books. I had a question. How do you deal with copywriting your work? For example, for self-publishing a book on Amazon, what would be the procedure to get a copyright? Okay, so there's a couple of things here. First, copyright is there the second you started writing your book. Okay, so even if you never publish it, it is technically still covered and protected by copyright. So if you wrote an entire story and then for whatever reason decided, I'm never going to publish this, no one else can take it and go publish it and say, hey, this is mine, without your permission. So you would still be able to make them take it down because they can't do it because it's yours. Copyright's yours. You created the work. In the United States, I don't know for sure if this is everywhere else because I think in Canada, it's like an automatic thing, at least at first. Alex will have to correct me, but I think like your first 10 books, it's automatic. And after that, you have to register. Anyway, in the United States, you have to register the copyright with the Library of Congress in order to get expanded protection. So with regular copyright protection, let's say someone plagiarizes your book, right? And they go and they publish it and it's plagiarized, and you buy their book or you download it for free or whatever, and you read, and it's on you to read and show where it's plagiarized, right? Like specifically. So that means you and maybe a friend or an editor going through page by page, their book, your book, to like find the copyrighted, the plagiarized pieces, right? Then you can file a claim, or file a complaint rather, with the platform, Amazon, and you can say, they stole my book. Here's my proof. And then Amazon will take their book down. And that's basically it. Or if you find it like on a pirated site, you can send a notice to the pirated site and say, that's my book, take it down. And they will. Or if someone is selling it direct on their website, you can say, hey, that's my book. Here's my proof, take it down. And they will. But that's pretty much it. You can tell anyone else to stop what they're doing. And if you register the copyright with the Library of Congress, that's when you can get into other things. So you could contact the author and say, hey, you stole my book. And because you stole here's the proof that it's my book. And because you stole my book, and your book, your pirated copy got downloaded 2,000 times, I'm figuring that at least 1,000 of those people would have bought my book if you weren't pirating it. Therefore, I'm suing you, like you have to take it down, and I'm suing you for compensatory damages, showing that because of this, I lost all this money. And I want to go after punitive damages to make sure you never do this to another author again. So it opens up extra avenues that are not there for you without the registration. That said, I'm not a lawyer. Get a lawyer. If you think someone has plagiarized your book, definitely talk to a lawyer, okay? Because I am not one. So I don't have the specific information or the right scripts or any of that, because I am not a lawyer. Procedure to get a copyright for my clients would pretty much, you have until 3 months after the publication date. So we just make it part of the workflow. Book is done, getting ready to be uploaded. We have all of the information filled out on whatever platform they're using. Then we head over to the Library of Congress online, file for the copyright, pay the $45, wait a few minutes to make sure it's gone through and we get the confirmation, and then we finish the publishing. So it's like all one 10-minute process right there at publishing. I know we talked about this before, but I forgot what we talked about. Your thoughts on AI art, using social media and blogs, websites. So AI art, I have different thoughts than AI writing, mostly because AI art is trained on so much stolen art. And what I would like to see, and I don't know if this is ever going to happen, I would like to see the AI get reset, basically. And I would like to see them be forced to retrain the AI on licensed, purchased materials, like where they have to pay the artists to train their AI on. That's what I would like to see. Is it going to happen? I have no idea. That's what I would like to see. I am less worried about it for things like not showing humans. And like if you wanted, like, say, a stack of books for your blog post, I'm not as worried about it in those instances, I still, because of the copyright issues and the legalities around copyright with AI art, I am not comfortable using AI art and then putting that on a book cover without some seriously heavy edits to make it your own, mostly because copyright. As of right now, the legal precedent that we do have is that AI cannot be copyrighted, or AI is not protected by copyright because of the fact that it was trained on stolen material and because of the fact that it wasn't created by a human. So with those two thoughts in mind, I would not use it for things like a book cover or illustrations inside of a book. I would just hire an illustrator. But that's not accessible for everyone, so I'm also not going to judge anyone who makes a different decision. For blogs, I would say stay away from people. Like if you're going to do AI art inside your blog post, I would just, AI of a home office with a computer. That's so generic that I don't see much issue with that. The best thing to do, like the absolute best practice to do, is still going to be to take your own photos. In lieu of that, the second best thing to do would be to purchase premium photos from a site like Deposit Photos or Creative Fabrica. But barring that, or with budget issues or whatever, non-personal photos, I think that would be okay. But that's just my own personal opinion. Like, other people are going to have different opinions on that. You look like my homeroom substitute. Today my book is out. Yeah, I know. I ordered it. I thought I pre-ordered it. So I was like, Alex, I woke up so excited this morning. I was like, I'm going to have book mail today. I was so excited. And so then I log in, get the kids to school, and then I log in to see what time the mail was going to come here. Because sometimes the mail gets here kind of early, right? So I was like, oh, that would be so cool. I could surprise Alex because I could sit down live and show her a book or whatever. Only to find out that I didn't actually pre-order it. I added it to my cart, but I never actually paid for it for the pre-order. So I had to order it today. So it'll be here Friday. Never heard that phrase when I was an editor. Yeah, me neither. Have you published a book? Yes. A little confused. I'm going to double check on what is expected for this role. Thanks for offering some insight. Hope you feel better from allergies. Have a great day. Thanks, Ashanti. Would you prefer publishing a book on Wattpad or Inkitt? Why or why not? I don't have any real opinions on either of them. So if you're looking for a comparison, I'm not the one to compare to. If you're looking for, hey, what do I mind publishing on that? I actually think, so I call that social publishing, which is a term that I learned from Jane Friedman in one of her blog posts. She was talking about the 6 different ways that you can publish your book. And one of those ways she called social publishing, which is publishing your book on a site like Wattpad or Inkitt, AO3, or Kindle Vella type of episodic online only publishing. I do think that is a future way of publishing. I think that the fact that Amazon copied Wattpad is very telling about the way in which some books are going to be. And I think, like, as I go through even TikTok and whatever, sometimes I'm getting those love stories. It's like they look like soap operas, but they're very short. They're like 30-second episodes or whatever, because they want you to pay money to watch the whole thing, and I never want to pay money to watch the whole thing. But anyway, I think that shows another avenue of what we are going to see more. I think in the future, those types of sites are going to be more prominent, and I think they will eventually be recognized as formal publishing platforms, just the same way that KDP is. I don't think we're there yet because there's still some issues. I know that Wattpad still has a lot of complaints about copyright stuff, so we're not there yet. Also, what do you think makes a manuscript stand out if you send it to a publishing firm? I forgot what's coming out today. Hello. I'm from China. Hello, Andy. So you don't want to, okay, if you're trying to go traditional publishing, I would not send a manuscript to a publisher right away. I would go for an agent. The reason being is that publishers are playing a different game. Unless you're a lawyer, there's a really good chance that they are banking on the fact that you don't play the same game. They're sitting down to play Monopoly, and you are sitting down to play Pictionary, okay? Like, they're playing a whole different game. So, I would definitely aim for an agent. Now, how do you make sure that it stands out from an agent? Most of the agents that I have talked to have said that up to 2/3 of the manuscripts they reject, it's because the author didn't follow directions. It's because the author sent them a manuscript that's outside of their genre, that they weren't looking for, outside of their submission guidelines, sent them a form letter that made no sense, things like that. The other thing you want to make sure of is that when you are talking to an agent, or if you do decide to skip the agent and you decide to go with, like, say, a small press or something like that that doesn't require an agent, remember, they're trying to sell. So it's not just you telling them everything that happens in your story. Your story is one very tiny part of what they need to know. So you're going to want to go in to, you're going to start off by saying right away, this is who this story is for. I'm writing this YA fantasy for kids who XYZ, blah, 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 need this message. This is what happens. And then you're going to want to talk about your market. You're going to want to impress upon the fact that you understand your market. You understand the demand for the book. You understand what else is coming out. You're going to want your comp titles in there because they want to know that you can help them sell your book. So when you're writing your query letters, you're going to want to put that information in there. You don't send your manuscript to a publisher. You get a literary agent. Yes, literary agent. Yes. Hello, Ian. Stormy has been posting about those, and I've been seeing them everywhere, right? They're everywhere. Hi, Christelle. Hello, Harrison. I'm thinking of doing the AI art mainly for the fantasy creatures characters, even just creatures and no characters would be nice till I can afford paying for art. Thanks, Naomi Nakashima, for answering your question. You're very welcome. Ari, okay, so for Zara, for that, hang on 1 second. Okay. Okay. There's one AI art generator called Firefly that was put out by Adobe that was not trained on stolen art. It was trained by Adobe using Adobe's stock photos. So they're all licensed images that photographers and artists gave Adobe license to use. So if I were you and I wanted to use AI art for my creatures, I would use Firefly because of the copyright issues. That said, you're still going to fall under copyright issues when you try to copyright, because it's still not created by a human. It's still being created by an AI. And with the legal precedent that in order for a work to be protected by copyright, it has to be created by a human, that means that your creatures wouldn't be protected. So I would also not release those for public. Use them, I would use it just for yourself, for visualization and whatever, or for like creating a mock-up, so that when you hire an artist, you can tell them like, I want it to look like this kind of thing, which is similar to like what I do on Canva. Like I'll put together kind of a mock-up of a book cover, and then I'll go to my book cover designer and I'll say, this is what I want. Something like that. But as far as I know, this is the only AI art generator that was not trained on stolen art. So for something like that, that would be the one. Under what circumstances would you think someone should go for a literary agent versus self-publishing? Also, any common platforms to find a good literary agent of your genre? Fiverr, LinkedIn. Hello, everyone. Hope y'all's day is going swell. Hello, Lucy. Love the pink hair. Thank you. Yeah, you won't find a literary agent on Fiverr. Don't look. Okay, so if you're the choice between trad publishing and self-publishing, if you're going to go trad publishing, I always say go for an agent. So really what you're asking is a choice between the two. The advantages of trad publishing is that there's gatekeepers, and I know that doesn't sound like an advantage, but there's a little bit of rest assuredness that, okay, I know my book has to be good because these gatekeepers said it was. So there's a little bit of a confidence boost in that. Also, you don't have to work as hard, and you don't have to do, you don't have to work as hard, and you don't have to do as much. Because if you go trad publishing, you're the author. You write and market your book, and that's it. You write and market. They hire the editors. The editors will send stuff back to you. You'll do the updates and the revisions in accordance to what the editors said, right? You send it back. They hire the illustrators. They hire the book cover designers. They hire the formatters, etc. All of that is out of your hands. They'll send it back to you. There's usually really good communication happening, but you don't have to do anything. All you have to worry about is write and market your book, and that's it. There's also a lot of relationships that you get to leverage because of the publishing house that you can't when you're self-publishing. They have relationships with bookstores, so it's a lot easier to get your book into a bookstore. They have relationships with studios and screenwriters and all kinds of other stuff. So it's a lot easier to find someone who might license your story for a movie or a television series or something like that. So if you're thinking that your book would make a great movie, then traditional publishing gets you there a little bit more easily. They also have global distribution, and you don't have to worry about any of that because they use their partners to distribute your book everywhere. So you don't have to worry about any of that. So if you're not in a hurry and you're okay with some of the other stuff, it can be pretty good. If all you want to do is write your books, it can be pretty good. Takes a long time to get started. Takes a long time to get paid. So it's not something that you can do and just like sit back and wait because you got rent to pay and stuff, right? But you don't have to have the same go mentality when you're trad publishing. If, on the other hand, if you're going to go self-publishing, that's usually like you have to do it all. You are in charge of everything, because when you go self-publishing, you're not the author. You're the publisher. And you are your client. Like you are the author and you're the publisher. So you have to think like a publisher and what you would do for your client. You You got to handle the distribution. You got to hire the editors, the formatters, the cover designers, the illustrators, so on and so forth. That's all up to you. That all costs money. Or you can find ways to cut corners and stuff and save a lot of time. But for the most part, that all costs money. So you're going to be in charge of all that. That's going to fall on your back. And you're going to do it all without the gatekeepers. Meaning, you just better have faith. You can't be like, when you're trad publishing and things kind of take a long time, you still have that, well, the agent said it was really good, so it must be good. Maybe they can't get you a book deal right away, but you can kind of fall on that hope of, well, things are moving though, because the agent said it was good. And then when you get the book deal, but it's still taking a long time to come out, you can be like, well, but they like it. You can kind of lean on the fact that they told you it was good, that these gatekeepers said it was good. When you're self-publishing and things aren't moving, though, you don't have that same reassurance because it's just you. But you get to put it out faster. You get to get paid faster. Your royalties are a little bit higher because you're not splitting them with a publisher. So it's really just a matter of the career that you want to have. Do you want to be an author and let the publishers do the publishing, or do you want to be a publisher who puts out your books? That's really the choice there. I really appreciate all the advice and experiences. You are so welcome. You look pretty. Thank you. You look pretty in your hair. Thank you. You have, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I think I'm going for a series for Knives of Darkness. I don't think I can get it all in one book. I think I am making it paranormal. I love paranormal. Love from India. Why, thank you so much. Good evening. Paranormal series, right? Good evening. I gotta go through my emails. Been ignoring them since last weekend. Same. Why are pits crackheads for snow? She doesn't want to come inside. I don't know. That book cover I made and posted is going to have magic on her and make her her father's assassin. Oh. Let's see. We'll do that. And that. Okay, that should be good for now. Looking beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock at night in India. It's 10 o'clock in the morning where I'm at. It's fine, Alex. You're fine. Now it doesn't matter. I noticed, and I was just like, you know what? I mean, the mods are doing really great. Don't get me wrong. the Jessica, Kimmy, and Seisha have been on it today. Every time they're catching the comments before I do. They've been on it, but I just thought, you know what? I may as well make Sarah and you in this account a mod. I like your hair. You look really cool with it. Thank you. I was thinking to go for a creative writing course because I am a rookie writer who doesn't like what I write, but I have ideas. It's such a big cup, right? Do I think it would be a good idea? You're so pretty. Thank you. Okay, so creative writing courses. If you have ideas, great. I say run with the ideas first. Creative writing courses mostly cover things like how to come up with ideas. And they go into a lot of like sentence structure and a little bit about like plotting and themes and stuff like that. But for the most part, unless that's what you need help with, they're not going to help you draw out your ideas. They don't really go into things like that. So unless you specifically need help with how to come up with a theme or how to take your theme and develop a plot, I wouldn't spend the money on a creative course as a new writer. What I would do instead is, if you were going to spend money on a course, I would probably spend money on a marketing course first, if I were going to spend money on a course at all. And even then, I would probably start for like the free stuff. If you're brand new to everything, start with the free stuff, see how far you can get. I wouldn't pay money for a creative writing course until you're maxed out at the level that you are. Once you reach and you've gone through all of your creativity and all of that, I would use a creative writing course to take you to the next level rather than at starting level. Do you know what I mean? Tsunami Strike. Hello. Hi. Magic Indefatigable Girl. I don't know about Indefatigable. Planning on a fantasy book full of magic, fire, and lesbians. Any advice on how to make it an enjoyable read? Love your hair and your advice. Thank you. Keep your ideal reader in mind and what they would want. Also, micro cliffhangers. Because nowadays, most people are putting, like, I don't want to say, because I hate using the whole short attention span. I hate it. But we all know that people have shorter and shorter attention spans because we're getting pulled in 52 different directions. And so when you're writing your book, like at the end of every chapter should be some kind of a micro cliffhanger that is then resolved at the beginning of the next chapter. You know what? Oh my God. Really good examples of these. If you have the app Tubi is streaming the classic Doctor Who episodes. And they do this amazingly. Because when I was a kid and Doctor Who was on, one like series was like 4 to 6 episodes or whatever. And they were about 30 minutes long. And it was always a cliffhanger at the end. And so the next week, you would want to come in and see what happened. You want to take that same concept and put it into your book throughout your book. Because then what happens is when someone has to put your book down because they got to go take the kids somewhere, or they got to go to class, or they got to go take care of their mom, or they got to go do the dishes, or whatever the hell else is going on in their life, they're still going to want to know what's going on. And they're going to want that answer right away. So go go watch the, like, series 12 or something of the classic Doctor Who, and you'll see what I mean by that micro. It's not a very big cliffhanger. It feels like it when you have to wait a week for the answer. But I mean, like, it's a little cliffhanger. Robot is going after Sarah Jane Smith. Oh no, will he get her? You know, and then in the very next episode, within the first 2 minutes, the Doctor comes in and saves the day. So no, the robot did not get Sarah Jane Smith. And they all escape, right? It's like, it's answered right away. And you're going to want to do the same thing, because at the end of one chapter, you have that micro cliffhanger. And then someone go, you know, because we have a tendency to say, I'll stop reading after the next chapter. Now we want to know what happened. We flip to the next chapter and we go to find out the answer. Now we've got the answer. But we don't like stopping ourselves in the middle of a chapter. So our brain will say, I'll finish the end of this chapter. And we can do that a couple of times. The other days had some out there trolls. Yeah. If you just spoke it into existence, you may have yourself to blame. I'm really curious, Naomi, how did you get started and build momentum with your ideas? How did I get started writing? I don't remember not writing. I don't remember a time when I wasn't writing something. How did I, like, turn it into a career? That was sooner ago. That's not a word. That's a word, but that's not the right way to use those words. But that was more recently. Because I fought for decades against the idea that writing isn't a real job and so on and so forth. Because that's what I was always told. It's a hobby. It's something bored housewives do. Things like that. So turning it into a career has been like ups and downs, and I'll do it and, you know, then I'll quit and I'll go back to school. Uh-oh. Am I back? I lost connection for a minute there. Just passing through. Happy Valentine's Day. You're so beautiful. I love your hair. Am I back? Super happy and proud of you. Why, thank you. Hello, Addison. Bored housewife. Well, congratulations. Okay. My internet is starting to fail for some reason. So it keeps disconnecting me in weird ways. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me this morning. Hopefully these allergies will, like, correct themselves. Happy Valentine's Day. Hopefully everything will, Addison. I'm a big fan of you. Oh, thank you so much. Love the pink hair. Thank you. Hopefully these allergies will clear up and tomorrow I won't sound quite so like this. Anyway, hope you all have an amazing day, okay? Go get all the words written. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. All right?